Kearney, head wrestling coach at University of St. Mary, also the former head wrestling coach at Oregon. The program dropped. What's that feel like now that you've had a couple years after that?
Well, I mean, it's anytime you drop a wrestling program, it's not just the people that were wrestling there at the time. It was the people that wrestled there before. It was all the kids and the wrestling community that wanted to be a part of that program in the future. So I mean, it never goes away. The heartache and the pain when you think back on those times is huge. For me, being at the University of St. Mary, being someplace where we're starting a program has been real cathartic for me, where we're ordering wrestling mats instead of trying to find wrestling clubs to give them to. We're actually ordering mats and trying to build a program as opposed to dissolve one. So, yeah.
Oregon has such a great wrestling tradition. You were there, you were part of it as an athlete. How do we continue to grow wrestling in the Northwest?
Well, you know, that Restore Wrestling group is doing a fantastic job of making it visible and getting in and talking to people. The high school coaches are working hard in building their programs to keep the participation rates and the numbers up. Ultimately, I think that one of the things that wrestling people need to really do a better job of is getting to those competitions. If Oregon State has a dual meet and they put 5,000 people in Gill Coliseum, it's going to make it more attractive to the Oregons, the Portland States, the Western Oregons, the Lewis and Clarks, the Linfields, because they see that it's a visible, high-profile sport. Us in the wrestling world, we know and we follow and we care. But letting the outside world know, the way we do that's by buying tickets and by showing up and being a part of it.
You're now in Leavenworth, Kansas. What's the community like in the state of Kansas?
You know, the wrestling community, college wrestling, I mean, kind of leaving Oregon, watching it, you know, in Oregon and then coming to Kansas, there are 17 colleges that offer wrestling as a varsity sport between the junior colleges and the NAIs and the D2s. They're missing that D1 program. But there's a lot of opportunities for the student athletes of Kansas to continue their wrestling at schools like the University of St. Mary, at Baker University, at Bethany College. Benedictine has a fantastic program. All these programs are places where young men and now a lot of young women can go on to continue their wrestling. So that's been a real neat part to be a part of that. It's been pretty darn cool. Would love to see a Kansas or a Kansas State step up and say, you know what, we're going to buck conventional wisdom. We're going to look at what's happening in Fresno State where they averaged over 4,500 people per home duel and say, you know what, this can be a sport that maybe doesn't bring in profit at the front, but through donations and people being a part of what we're doing, it becomes something that becomes a self-sustaining sport. I mean, that'd be phenomenal.